Hi guys, what we're going to do right now is review everything that we've learned regarding bonds, okay? And this is not just going to be a nice to know, but it is something that you're going to need to use once you hit the floor, okay? So we're going to use this very non-high-tech presentation to review what we've covered thus far. So we're going to take the bond that you guys see in front of you. Okay, we're going to use the terms of this bond, and feel free to pause the video throughout to do your own calculations and maybe also prove out my answers. Okay, so the things that we're going to cover is we're going to calculate the annual amount, the daily amount, the periodic income. We're going to calculate the value of a bond and daily amortization. Now we're going to use only the straight line amortization just because it is a lot easier than a level yield amortization. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to calculate is the annual income. Okay, so the annual income is going to be the number of bonds that we're purchasing times the rate. So 2.5 million in this case times 4%. And again, going with my non-high tech, okay? Here we have the calculation. So 2.5 million bonds times 4%, that is going to give us 100,000. And in this case, dollars because it's USD. This bond is issued in US dollars. Now, obviously, as we've mentioned in class, we do not want to hit our fund with $100,000. Okay, so what we do is we accrue gradually every single day, and what we use to do this calculation, this daily income calculation, is use the accrual method of the bond. So in this case, it happens to be the 30/360 accrual method. Every bond, depending on its type, will have its own accrual method. You don't need to memorize all the different accrual methods that a bond can use. This is information that is going to be given to you easily by searching the bond on Bloomberg and looking at the DES screen, which is the description screen for that bond. So this bond, being corporate, okay, is going to divide the annual amount by the number of days in the year based on the accrual method. So the number of days in the year in the accrual method is 360. So 100,000 divided by 360 will give me my daily income. My answer is 277.78. Notice how I rounded that very last digit. Why? We're dealing with monies. Okay? So if I do not round that number, my calculation is going to be incorrect. Okay? So after I calculated my daily income, the next thing to do is to calculate the number of days in the period, okay? Why? Well, I'm going to need it to calculate the amount of income that I'm going to purchase when I purchase this $2.5 million, this 2.5 million bonds from the previous holder. Because not only am I going to pay the previous holder the value of that bond at that point in time, but I'm also going to give them any income that they would have earned from the last time that that bond paid through settlement date -1. So I'm going to see that this bond pays semi-annually, and the last time that I'm seeing on Bloomberg, the last pay date, which pretty much drives when this bond is going to pay, is this bond pays on December 25th and every 6 months after that. So every December 25th and every June 25th. So June 25th happens to be the closest date to my trade details. So in order to calculate the number of days in the period, I'm going to go from the last time that this bond paid through settlement date minus 1. So I'm going to go from June 25th through July 27th. Remember, I find it extremely important for me to write down those date ranges when I'm going to do a day count calculation. So based on the accrual method, we're being told that every single month is going to have 30 days. So no matter what month we're dealing with, every month will have 30 days. So if it paid June 25th, we're going to go from June 25th through June 30th. So how many days in June? 6. Okay? Why 6? We need to include pay date. Okay? So it is June 25th, 26th, 27, 28, 29, and 30. 6 days. And obviously we have 27 days in July, so 6 plus 27 gives me my answer of 33. Now, based on the number of days in the period, I now can calculate my period income. So, how much income did I purchase, or how much income did I pay the previous holder based on these terms? Well, I am going to pay them the daily amount that I calculated, right, of 277, 277 spot 78 times 33 days. Told you it was low tech in the period. That gives me 9,166 spot 74. So this is the amount that I'm going to include in my trade. All bond trades, unless bought at issuance, will have income attached to it. And what we now need to do is, that is actually the end of income calculations, right? Annual income, daily income, period income. And that's the only thing that we need, the accrual method, okay? What we're now going to calculate is straight line amortization. Now, before I go into straight line amortization, there's one little piece that we're going to need for our calculation, but it also serves as a review on how we calculate the value of a bond. So when we bought the Northern Trust 4% maturing December 15th, 2018, we bought 2.5 million bonds at 98.75. That bond was bought at a discount. So if I buy it below 100, it is at a discount. If it is at 100, it's at par. If it is above 100, it's at a premium. Okay? No matter what I paid for it, I will always receive the face value of that bond. Okay? So how do I calculate the value of that bond? All I need to do is multiply the number of bonds that I have times the price. But remember, that price is quoted in percentage terms. So remember what I said in class, there's almost like an invisible little percentage sign right after the price, okay? You will never see it. But you need to know that whenever you look at the description of the asset and it has a rate and a maturity date attached to it, you're dealing with a bond. So you need to sort of switch your thinking and treat that bond price in percentage terms. So let's go ahead and do that. So the value of the bond, or in this case we purchase, so it's the cost of the bond, is going to be 2.5 million bonds times 98.75. And I need to remember to divide it by 100 to give me the value of the cost of 2,468,750. Now that is what I paid for the bond, right? I calculated the amount of income in that trade. Okay, so I would pay the previous holder $2,468,750 for that bond, because that's the value of the bond. Then I'm also going to pay them any income that they would have been entitled to from the last moment that bond paid through settlement date minus 1. Okay? Now, straight line amortization. What do I need? Well, I need to know what I'm going to be receiving at maturity. So I am actually seeing those numbers right in front of me. So what I'm going to receive at maturity is going to be par, right? So to calculate straight line amortization, I'm going to take the value at maturity minus the cost. So these two numbers, take the difference between these two, and divided by the number of days to maturity. And the day count is a little bit different. It's going to go from settlement date. So settlement date is your day 1. You're going to go through maturity date minus 1. So you do not use the 30 over 360 accrual method. Okay, that's where a lot of confusion comes in. A lot of people want to use these day counts because they're trying to calculate income, but that is not what we use. That is only for income, not amortization. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the days to maturity, and we're going to go from settlement date through maturity date minus 1. Okay, so the settlement date is July 28th, 2017, and we're going to go through December 14, 2018. That happens to be maturity date minus 1, right, guys? Maturity date is located on the description of the bond, okay, or on the DES screen on Bloomberg. So let's go ahead. Now this happens to be a short count. So the first thing is 2017. For 2017, we're going to go from July 28th through December 31st. So I'm going to go, July has 4 days. Why 4 days? 28, 29, 30, 31. 4 days. Actual number of days. July 4, August 31, September 30, October 31, November 30, December 31. So 2017 has 157 days. Now for 2018, I did it a little bit shorter. Okay, so what I did is, well, this is not a leap year. 2018 is not a leap year. That is very important. So it's 365 days in the year. And I'm going to subtract 17 days that are going to be from December 15th through December 31st. Okay, so the number of days that have lapsed in 2018 would be 348. So I take the 348 days for 2018, add the 157 days for 2017, and that gives me the total day count for this date range to be 505. Well, I'm going to go ahead and use that day count to do my calculation, and here it is. The amount I'm going to receive at maturity minus my cost over the number of days that I just calculated. So again, settlement date through maturity date minus 1. And that gives me the daily accretion amount, right? Why accretion? Well, I bought it at a discount, right? I bought it at a discount. So if a bond is bought at a discount, it accretes. If it's bought at par, it doesn't do anything. And if you bought it at a premium, then it amortizes. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. I'm sorry it is very low tech, but feel free to ask me questions. Talk to you soon.